in honor of Jerry, I mean, he's not dead, but in honor of Jerry,
Oh no, it's not that terrible.
maybe we should dive
He just can't
into
talk.
his favorite part of the week, and that is the indie of the week. Ooh. And this one I picked specifically for John, effectively.
I wonder why.
Maybe it's because you will never financially recover from this.
Yeah. So a couple of weeks ago, we talked about the fact that TTCombat, who we know they'd done this, they'd bought the Relics range from Tor Gaming, which was a fantastic game that we dove deep into back in the day. We had loads of videos and we did loads of stuff with the designers and everything like that. But the game kind of vanished off the map, unfortunately, and the miniatures sort of vanished into the ether, as it were. But now the entire Relics range, well, most of it is available as part of the TTCombat web store right now. So yes, these are now available for you to buy. John has bought, I think, all of them.
all of the Britannan, yeah.
All of the Britanans.
Yeah. I mean, when we looked at this morning, John went, "Is that one I?" Nope, that's not happening.
But yes, so all of the Britanans and all of the Orcnar are now available for you to dive into and pick up. So this gives you the two, I guess you'd say, core factions, I think, for Relics that sort of came out when the game initially launched. You've got loads of awesome bits and pieces in there. The kind of overall vibe for the game was always meant to be like Stitch Punk, which I thought was a cool way of approaching things.
Mm-hmm. I love me some Stitch Punk.
Yeah, and you can
it's
see
a bit like that movie 9.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
yes.
It is a bit.
Yeah. It was one of the bits of the background I loved of this was just there was a mage that screwed up, and then the entire kingdom got turned into puppets.
Yeah, and all of the classic miniatures have returned. Everything that you would have seen previously that was available.
Whoa!
In metal.
Look at the rock boobies on that.
Exactly.
The Orcnar I always find really creepy.
Yeah.
And I would much rather play Britannan, but John bought them first.
The Orcnar are trying to save their forgotten empire. Don't diss them. Yeah. So
yeah, they will.
But yeah, so all of the miniatures that were available previously in metal are now back in resin. And actually, John, you've managed to get your hands on quite a few of these. I think.
I have currently bought one of everything that TTCombat released for the Britannan. So in some cases, because I went and found my original Tor Gaming medals, I have 2 of certain units now, which is handy. Yeah. The resins are exactly the same mold as the medals.
Right. Okay.
So with that comes the same flaws that the old medals had as well. Like they haven't revamped anything. So heads with the little peg into the slot are kind of still a little bit fidgety here and there, if anyone's familiar with them before, but the quality's fine. The resin's nice and flexible. It's nice and resilient. The only thing I stumbled across was some of the models have the tab for the slot base and some of them don't.
Oh, okay.
I just decided not to worry about the slot at all because I didn't want to cut into the slot base. So all of them are glued with their tiny little peg feet onto the base, which is definitely not going to cause me problems further down the line.
Those are points of contact asking for trouble. But
yeah,
there's a reason some gamers lose their hair.
Yeah,
there is indeed.
But if you don't want to be like John, there's an easier way, and you don't have to buy everything because they have starter sets.
Well, and they did have starter.
Oh, they did have starter sets.
Yeah.
They don't have starter sets.
No, so currently the set that's available at the moment is just the Britanans and the Orcnar, but the images that I've shared with you here, Lloyd, are stuff for us to look at based on what has already existed. So for those people who are interested,
you can get this. Is that what you're saying?
So you can get all of those miniatures. You just can't necessarily get them as part of the starter set.
Oh.
But this gives you an idea of the initial 4 factions, I think it were, that came out for the game. So you had the Britanans and the Orcnar, you had the Nuem and the Vatir as well. So you had that really nice mix between that kind of, as we said, sort of like Stitch Punky, steampunky vibe, and then the slightly more fey and sort of fantastical side of things as well. I was, when the initial range came out, I was very much a Britannan person. I was like, they are definitely the ones for me. But there were some stuff that I put some images into this as well, Lloyd, of the Ridens that came out. And these are very kind of labyrinth style characters that you would see in a lot of those sort of like Jim Henson style movies and things, which that was really, really nice. And hopefully, fingers crossed, they're going to be coming back as well. They
I want these versus the Stitchy Punky dudes really does it for me.
That was my plan. That once the Rid End came out, I was just going to buy all of it as well and just have those two armies to
See,
have.
I always thought the new M were kind of funky. BDSM
Oh, yeah,
dwarves,
like
not
weird,
for you, Ben.
crazy folk. I have
New
a
M. These where are
the
these
new M,
dudes?
Yeah.
they're like weird, crazy, as you say, dwarves. Yeah, not necessarily for me. I don't think. I think they're a bit off the wall.
Pain is good dwarves. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll stick with them. But yes, my hope is that eventually over the course of the next couple of months, year or so, we'll see the rest of this range start to develop and be brought back to the tabletop. There was another, I don't know whether or not they ever actually released them, but there was also the Chthonian or the Chthonians that were announced, which is sort of like a weird Lovecraftian side of thing. I know they were, can't remember if they went to Kickstarter and then never got released or something.
Yeah, I don't think they ever came out because I know the Redan was the last faction to fully release.
That seems.
Why did they go with the Orcnar? I never associated the Orcnar as like really one of like the coolest, most unique looking faction in it.
I would say it's probably because they're so different from the Britanans. Because you've got
Also-
the stitchy, punky puppets, and then you've got the big, monstrous Orcnar on the other side.
Also, both of these factions, I would say, probably were the most fleshed out.
Yeah,
So they
probably
had the
were.
biggest range of stuff to offer to customers.
Yep.
Yes,
Because the Britannia range is superb.
it really
Mhm.
is.
I love
gorgeous.
the heavy dragoons. I only have 4 of them. I want more.
They've got wheels
Yeah.
and peg legs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see. My favorite is still the little hunting pack with the Stitch Punk puppies.
Oh yes, they are very cool.
Is that still here? Where's that?
Yeah, you had it open a little earlier.
Where?
It's just on the
There,
right.
on the
Oh,
right.
here we go. Yeah.
Yes, little tiny like Stitch Punk bulldog. type things.
Where's
Yeah.
the mode?
They're
The
great.
picture doesn't do it justice because you get friggin' 8 dogs
You
with
get
that
8
guy.
dogs in the set. Wow.
Yeah.
That's
There's a lot more than I was expecting.
Yeah, and that's
There's,
one of the that's an event miniature that they've put out recently because Adepticon's on at the moment as well.
So is this
we're
a new
interested in
one?
that. That's it's
Yes.
a new event miniature. Yeah,
So they're sculpting as well.
uh-huh. Doing fun
This-
stuff. John
this
has already
is-
bought this.
Yeah, this is TTCombat's first in-house sculpt for Relics, which is a good sign of things to come.
It's tied in well.
Yeah,
really
his
has.
his
It
face
has.
is a little froggy.
I'd have probably put a stitch on his mouth. Oh, he has a couple of stitches here. I'd probably put another stitch here because I'm not.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be painting bloody stitch patterns. So I need stitches.
We'll have to get a look when John gets his copy in.
Yeah, we seen it while we were going over the running order this morning, and I immediately bought it because I hadn't seen it pop up.
And remind me, are these metals or resins?
Resin.
Yeah.
Yeah, so any of those joints that were an issue beforehand, the resin's probably a little easier to work with to actually make them fit.
Little bit.
Just a
A little bit.
smidge. Just,
Just
a thread better.
I think currently, and in my head, it kind of makes sense that TTCombat are trying to use up the existing molds,
Mhm.
or if they've made new molds, they're not really like they haven't changed them in any way. So like there's still flaws, but I mean it doesn't matter because the resin they're using is a good material, so they're easy to sand back and clean. So
Yeah, coolness.
It
I
should
am
also
opening some downloads here as well.
Yeah. So it should also be noted that as well as the miniatures for the Britanans and the Orcnar, all of the rules that have ever effectively existed for the game are available to download for free from TTCombat. So
For free.
free a handbag. So yes, if you're someone who played back in first edition or you wanted to dive into second edition and all sorts of different things, all of the rules are there. So whichever version of the game you preferred, you can dive in and play that. You've also got all the information you need for building your particular warbands based on the different collections. So if you do have some of the stuff for the new M or the Vatir, for example, and you want to start playing with them, that stuff does exist out there, which I think is quite nice. I remember the game being quite fun, actually, a nice little sort of skirmish style game. I've not delved too much into the rules as they stand, but I think from what
We
TT
liked
Combat
it.
have said,
Mhm.
yes, well, there was a lot of content as I was going back through our site about the game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's all still there if people want to go have a little gander
It
at
is,
what we
yeah,
thought
yeah.
at the time.
I'll put
Which
the game.
means-
I'll put the game hub
Yeah.
down below in the link, so you can go and check it out.
Which means you've got videos to help you get into this too.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. There's chats with the designers and all sorts of different things. Lots of news that we did as well.
Mm.
But
I wonder how
yeah,
many people have just went diving into their attic now. I must find them.
they must be up there somewhere for somebody. Yeah, very true. I think
anyone
what's-
in the community have any Redan they don't want?
Oh yes.
Let me know.
Send them
The
to John.
TTCombat pickup. What was the other thing that the Room Raiders? Did they pick that up as well?
Home Raiders is coming
Home
back
Raiders.
later this year.
Is that a TTCombat thing?
Well, it was.
Yeah, I think it is. It was David Asbury, though.
Yeah,
Yes,
it was
but somebody
Vespron,
bought it.
but they bought it. So TTCombat do have Home Raiders, and they will be bringing it back because they should have a couple of fun new miniatures for that. So
Because it had a sort of similar-ish sort of vibe. Some of it, just the little troll guys that they have in that.
Yes, I know what you mean. Yeah,
If you were looking for something else to slot in, you could like proxy those in as well.
The weird one for that, though, was the Egyptian penguins.
Yeah, that ruined the game.
Be back.
I think they should kill them off. Lickety split. Get rid of the bloody penguins.
Right.
Listening to you Kickstarter people ruin that game. Never listen to the people. Never listen to the mob.
Shot fired.
The mob knows nothing.
Well, when the survey comes out about that, we'll know which one is Lloyd's.
That's it. So. No penguins. Penguins should either be at the North Pole or in chocolate bars. That's about it.
Scrawled in big red spiky lettering. Not sure what that lettering's made from.
But yeah,
Anyway.
if you are someone who's interested in Relics and you want to dive back into the game, 2 of the factions are fully available for you to dive into alongside all of the rules. And as we saw, there's a whole bunch of additional stuff hopefully coming down the pipeline for that as well. As I said, all the rules are available to download for free. But I believe that TTCombat are also working on doing their own bits and pieces in the future as well. So if you're somebody who wants to dive into that, make sure to go and check it out.
Also, as a customer of Relics and TTCombat now, I'm going to say if a new faction comes out and you put in an order, do expect a little bit of a delay, because when the Britannan released, I ordered all of it and it took a good couple of weeks before the major part of my order was sent out. And I did email them. I was like, look, I know you're busy. And they're like, yeah, the spike in interest really caught us off guard. And I was like, that's understandable. Don't worry about it.
We have produced enough for X number of customers. What happened was we got X number of customers.
Mm-hmm.
See?
There you go. There you can see some of the old miniatures and stuff that were previewed and all sorts of things back in the day. Back in the day.
Look at the exclusive, the chicken, the night on the chicken.
Yes, the Ridden Riders, the Duke.
Are they coming back?
I hope
they're
so.
coming back.
Yeah.
If they have the molds, I don't see why they wouldn't.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm pretty sure they bought it all hook, line, and sinker, really, because I know for the longest time. Oh my god!
Yeah, this
Maverick Mike's not back yet.
Where? Who's Maverick Mike?
This guy in the middle.
Dead middle.
Oh, he's not back. No.
Oh,
Clicking to
faction
these,
though.
Find the old images and things.
Oh.
But there we go. But yes,
these have to come. Look, this has to be reality.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, so that's /game/relic nights over on the website.
There'll be a link down below, so you can go and check that out. There we go. Cool. But yes, I think we're done with our Indie of the Week. Make sure to go and check it out. Make John happy, because the more people buy, the more factions they'll make, probably.
Or John gets.
We will be back very, very soon.
Oh. And if there's any sort of note system when you're placing your order, tell them to get rid of the penguins in that other game.
There we go. They're going to get a flurry of weird messages now. But
why are people hating on our penguins? What did they do?
Because Room Raiders was amazing when it looked like little shelf creatures, and then they had magical, weird Egyptian penguins.
They're going to be so confused. I'm going to have to answer to them. It's because of you, Lloyd.
No, you're not. Nobody needs to answer for penguins. They need to answer for the penguins.
Right. While we let Lloyd rant
on the buy as well. Like, since I'm not going to salute TTCombat, if you're watching this, just give Justin stuff for me.
Yeah.
Don't give him the bloody penguins, though. No penguins. If I see penguins come into the studio, I'm binning them. Just don't bother.
Right.
Sorry. Give them to me. I'll post them to Lloyd.
Tabletop gaming news coming in a second. Goodbye.